Across all African communities, spirituality is at the core of their existence. It permeates every aspect of life and is held to be the source of all occurrences and experiences. All things in creation are deemed to be sacred as they contain the essence of the Supreme Creator. So what does African spirituality entail?
The oldest belief in God in Africa was that God is a mother. Then came changes. There appeared belief in a male God, side by side with the female.
The concept of God, the concept of the Creator, the concept of is there even such a thing as the Creator is a big question that humanity has grappled with for many, many thousands of years. Because Africa is the place where the human race originated, Africa would also be the place where the very first discussions about what or what is God, goddess, creation, was there ever such a thing? That would be the first place where that discourse would happen. Now, the scholar that's advanced the discussion was Professor Charles S. Finch, who is a medical doctor, but he's also wrote something called Echoes of the Old Darkland. And in that book, he spells out his theory that when we're looking at the origin, evolution of the concept, it wasn't originally God, it was goddesses. And these goddesses were not based on women, they were based on animal types. Some people call them zoo types, right? And you had images such as the pregnant hippopotamus, large and impressive, and pregnant because she's about to give birth. And this idea of being about to give birth is creation of new life.
The mother was the creatress before there was belief in a male creator. That is what the stories say. Before there was a father God, there first came a mother God who gave birth to the father God.
According to Dr. Finch, other images of the Creator came from nature. The moon became important because the lunar cycle of 29.5 days is connected to the woman's menstrual cycle, which is also of the same length. So the moon was associated to be female. So essentially the elemental powers of night and darkness, sun and moon, these became important as well. Then you've got the tree being an important symbol, because the tree with its fruit, the tree as a symbol of protection, this is now sustenance and so on. Again, this was associated with the goddess. Now at a later date, we get the evolution of male deities. And this is when humanity rose to a position where people understood that males and females are important, just as important in the whole concept of reproduction.
We know that God is the one who gives food to all that exists in the universe. So in this sense, we call him generally Papa Bon Dieu, meaning Papa God, Papa Almighty God. However, when things go bad for us and we are in problems and things of that sort, we know that who we call is Bon Dieu Maman Moi. That means God who is my mother. So in fact, this is the way approach of the Vodou. People toward that Almighty, that we know, that we believe is a feminine figure. Because in our vision, life can only come from a woman. God for us, the image we have of God, is one of a woman.
I can't view all creation as reflection of God. Our creation story starts by saying God created a thing, singular, a thing, not things. This is another way of saying that God willed and became. In the becoming mode, he assumed energy. So you have wisdom, God, and energy. Of course, matter is congealed energy. So human being is matter and divine spirit. The body is the matter, and all created things disintegrate. But the divine aspect of man lives on forever. It's immortal. When we say Asasia, we are acknowledging the bounty of God. The earth gives us trees, vegetables, shelter, and everything else we need. So when you call Asasia, we are acknowledging the bountifulness of the divine, not a separate spirit living anywhere. When you call upon the trees give us seeds, food, and shelter. So again, it's acknowledging the bountifulness of God. We call on the river, we get fish from the river. We get water from the river to wash and drink. Again, it's a manifestation of God, which we are acknowledging. So the Akan prayer, all his activities, is a prayer to God.
Our world is not a one-fold way of looking at the spirit world. And that's why we have many, many different spirits. And each one of these spirits have a specific function. And so we don't have a one box fits all. Each spirit comes in and plays a particular function in your life that is not like the other spirit involvement in your life. And so that the nature spirit function is to basically help you through the different crossroads in your life, to help you unstuck yourself and to help you expand in such a way that you can embrace what lies ahead of you. And the fire spirit role is to basically help you be inspired. And we all know without inspiration, nothing works in this world. And so when the fire spirit shows up in your life and ignites your whole life, that we call it that I am on fire, that fire is not to be used in a destructive way, but that it is to be used in a way that enables it to help you connect to your spirit and to connect to all the different spirits out there, so you can have more alliances in being able to achieve your purpose and so forth.
A natureza, para nós do Candomblé, todo mundo cultua a natureza, porque nós cultuamos as árvores, cultuamos a água, cultuamos os fenômenos da natureza como o trovão, o relâmpago, as lagoas, o mar, que cada um dessas coisas que eu falei tem um orixá que protege, tá entendendo? Então, para nós, nós que somos a religião que mais protege a natureza e que é mais ligada à natureza, porque sem a natureza a gente não pode fazer nada. Porque toda a nossa cultura é em cima da natureza. Entendeu? Por exemplo mesmo, ali nós temos Dancô, que é uma árvore, temos Iroko, que é outra árvore, tem uma paucá, que é outra árvore. Então, tudo nós em cima, as fontes sagradas, todas as fontes são sagradas para a gente. Então, a natureza para a gente é tudo. Sem essa natureza, o candomblé não existe.
A big part of our tradition is what the West call deities or gods, what the Akans call Obusun, and the Yorubas call Orisha, and the Vodou of Haiti call Lowa, and the people in ancient Kemet call Neteru. And what they're talking about is the forces of nature, what we call in this society laws of physics. What we're calling our deities or our forces of nature are powers that exist in nature and in all the plants and elements and animals of nature. But these forces also exist in each human being. They also exist in the greater cosmos. They also exist in every cell in the human body. They also exist in each organ in the human body. They also exist as a process in each system in the human body. We have the respiratory system, we have the blood system, we have the lymphatic system, we have the digestive system. These are systems in the body that works according to certain rules and principles that have certain powers. And these systems, the respiratory system and the digestive system, they all interact with each other.
In the Vodou pantheon, we have what we call Lwa, Oluwa. They are spiritual masters. They are our teachers. There are vast categories of Lwa. Some of the principal ones are Ogun, Ezuli, the Gede, Dambala, Sogbo. There are a number of spirits that Africans brought with them from places like Benin, Dahomey, from Nigeria, Yoruba land, Igbo land, from Angola, from Senegambia, from all of these places. We brought these traditions with us to the Americas. It's broken down in categories in Haiti that does not exist in say, in Dahomey or in Benin. It's broken down in ways that it doesn't even exist in Brazil. We have Rada spirits, which are the older, cooler spirits of Africa. But we also have the petro spirits, and the petro spirits and energies were born here in the Americas. They were born here because, again, part of our work is this act of remembrance. It's this act of remembrance. It is also about maintaining space and territory. If we're constantly being cut down, if we're constantly being killed, if we're constantly being tortured, we are not in a position to serve as the instruments of the Lwa.
So our understanding of nature and how nature works allow us to create these things we call deities and orishas. But these things are concepts, ideas, and principles that cause certain forces in nature to animate. Through studying our religion, we see how these things animate in nature. Then we learn to use them to cause them to animate within our own self, starting with our personality to ethical moral training, then to have them by changing your behavior, your belief, your attitude. You also then introduce these forces to the very molecular cellular structure in your body, because those things cause changes in your body as well, based on the same forces. So that's what deities are, and that's what forces of nature is.
The Lwa, the Orisha, Inkisi, Vodou, all of the names that we call our spirits by, all of the manifestations of God, teach us to be our own masters. Our own masters. They teach us to be self-sufficient. They teach us to be administrators and governors of our own destinies. These are basic notions that actually have extreme importance and extreme value in the 21st century.
The forces of nature are therefore archetypes of knowledge representing aspects of ourselves and our connection with the Creator. They reflect the interconnection between all things, as all originate from the same source. Ultimately, they remind us of our inherent power, and by studying them in more depth, we learn how to manifest our God consciousness to attain our divine purpose on earth.
Donduma, olha aí, Donduma.
E a ave do campo chora, Donduma.
E olha aí, Donduma, olha aí, Donduma.
E a ave do campo chora, Donduma.
E olha aí, Donduma, olha aí, Donduma.
E a ave do campo chora, Donduma.
Olha aí, segura a onda, segura a onda, segura a onda.
Chora,